great to have you joining me this morning. Hopefully, you had a wonderful weekend. We certainly did. And, again, folks join us every week with all kinds of different perspectives. And some people have had great weeks, some people have had hard weeks. And regardless, it's wonderful to have you here joining us today as we just try to take a few minutes and focus on the bigger, more important things of life. And today what we're going to be talking about is what's opposite of God's covenant with us. And we are created. This is super important. We are created in God's image and likeness. We are created for heaven. We're created for a life of connection, and we're created for a life of community. We're created that way. And we can choose, being free human beings given free will, we can choose something very different. We can choose the opposite of that. We can choose, not to be connected. We can choose to be disconnected. And instead of community, we can choose to be, sort of atomized into a bunch of little fiefdoms. And I think you can see that temptation to move that direction, especially in the political season we find ourselves in America. And it doesn't matter whether you're on the right or the left. I think that the common enemy for all of us is that disconnection. And what I want to talk about today is just read you a little bit out of the book Secrets of Heaven, where it talks about like what starts to happen when that occurs, because we're created for connection. We can choose differently. And again, the connection and community, that is God's pact with us. It's where God's going to show up in connection and community. And when we choose something very different from that, we end up feeling very different. We end up with a society that's very different. And then it's kind of funny. People kind of get surprised by that sometimes, I think. And yet it's because we weren't created to be disconnected, and we see that when we are at war with ourselves, when literally within the community we start to go to war with each other. And, that's just not a good place to be. So let me read that for you here. Heaven itself, and this is the good side of the pact, heaven itself abides and consists of mutual love, as does all good fellowship and like-mindedness. So heaven is in this mutual love, this mutuality, this connectedness. Anything in the other world that's in spiritual world here that destroys unity violates the pattern of heaven itself and consequently aims at the destruction of the whole. That is what people are like when they take credit for their own deeds of their life and claim righteousness as their own. So here's this thing called righteousness out there. And when we start to break apart, start to pull apart, we say, no, we are the righteous ones and they are not. As is famously said, and I say it a lot, and it's incredibly important for us to keep coming back to this. The line between good and evil, it's often very, very easy to draw it between us and them. And the reality is the line between good and evil goes right down the middle of all of our souls. So that's really important to remember. And so we can't claim that we are the righteous ones by any chance, by any choice. We have to be really careful with that. And I want to tie that back into the service we did on Friday. So Friday we were talking about how God gives each of us a best note. So if you were to graph out our voice and you sang a whole range of notes, there'd be one note where you really had it. It might not be totally pitch perfect, but it would be that's the good note for you right there. And sort of think of that in your soul, like God gives you a gift and that's your best note, and your job is to sing from that. And then you start to develop a range outward from that best note. You don't kind of slide into it, you build out from it. And the way community is supposed to work is we all support each other's best notes. And it's the idea my best note is a little different than yours, a little different than yours, a little different than yours. Your range, I'm thinking musically here, most of you probably have a range that's much greater than mine. And that's beautiful. And so we all have these little slices and we bring that to the whole. And that works incredibly, incredibly well if a couple of conditions take place. Condition number one of that is if we can really make sure that as we offer that note to the whole, as we offer that note, that that it's within the context of the music. So we have the music out there. We're going to surrender to the music. In other words, there's something greater than us that we're offering our best efforts towards. And then the second part is that we're very aware of our volume. Because just imagine, the difference, right? We're all given these best notes. We're all given these things we can do. If you don't have the music, if you don't have the sheet music, it's just a mess, right? And then secondly, if you're all trying to be louder than the other person, that's a mess as well. And that's the divisiveness I think this is talking about, where it all becomes self-righteous, it all becomes self-absorbed. We'll look at those two tomorrow. And you end up with a cacophony versus a chorus. And when you end up with that cacophony, that's when we're all at war with ourselves. Because just imagine that song, you're in a room, everybody's singing something different. This person's trying to be louder than that person. Well, you're going to have one of two reactions there. One is you then are going to try to broadcast louder than anyone to bring your version of order to it, or you're just going to quit. And neither of those are good answers for the health of society. So for today, let's really try to it's a pretty simple thing. It's pretty simple. Just do your best to serve the whole. And it's a beautiful line. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Let's all of us just stay in our lanes today. And our lane is just to build community as God gives us to see it. That's it. It's not to be louder than the next person. It's certainly not to be more right than the next person. It's certainly not to draw self-righteousness to ourselves as if there's none that to be had from anybody else. And just remember that we're all trying to do our best. I mean, I really believe that we are all absolutely trying to do our best. Do we manage to pull that off all the time? Absolutely not. But I think the endeavor is clear that we're all out there trying to do the very best we can with the tools that God's given us for the day. So let's stay in our own lane, take our best note, put that forward, because that's God's pact with us. So hope that makes a lot of sense, friends. And with that, what we're going to do now is we're going to shift gears. And when we shift gears here at New Church Live, it's just a place where we quiet down. And the way we quiet down is I'm going to ring my little prayer bell here, and then we'll take a minute, just listen to that, and we'll allow that to still our thoughts and still our minds. Then we go into a little meditative part. You just follow along with that, and then we'll say hi to folks on social media. So with that, dear friends, let's get a little breath. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, and bring you home. Amen. All right, dear friends, let's give a little cheery hello to everyone, and I hope you have a Tuesdays are my Mondays because my off day is on Monday. So I hope you have a good week ahead of you. Hope your week got off to a good start. All right, Linda, good morning to you, and I hope you're doing well, my friend. Yeah, let's flip over to here. See if there's any more comments over here. A couple more comments over there. Melissa, good morning. Connection fills the heart. It sure does. And Melissa, great to have you, Mike, and that crew over for dinner. That certainly was a lot of fun. And Marcus, good morning to you. And my dear friend Steph, good to see you joining us this morning. I hope you're doing well and you're all the wonderful things that you do out there in the world to bring more connection. So, friends, just wishing you all the very best. God bless. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.